He had a gorgeous day in South Florida today, and tonight downtown Miami is all dressed up for the NBA. The American Airlines Arena is sold out and lit up for the two-time defending champions. The NBA on TNT is presented by State Farm. The Miami Heat coming in at 3-2, and the Los Angeles Clippers off the road loss last night also at 3-2. A pleasant good evening, everyone.
It was a Florida back-to-back for the Clippers. On Wednesday, they were outscored down the stretch 10-1 in Orlando in an 8-point loss, which had Doc Rivers saying his team took a casual approach and pointing out that the basketball gods do not reward teams that don't play hard for an entire game. Certainly something the Clippers would need to do in the back end of that Florida trip Thursday night in Miami as they took on LeBron James and the Heat, and LeBron coming in averaging 26 points a game and shooting 58%. And this is high percentage.
Wow.
A little down there.
No, I can't dunk.
Yeah,
No,
I can.
Watch Ray Allen right
You're
here.
8 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean, this is Layup City.
Ernie, that's a layup.
It's layup.
Oh,
Yeah, with a little fancy little layup,
Oopsie-doodle.
baseline reverse.
Good move. I mean, Ray Allen still has it in the tank.
Oh, he can still make a layup, I hope.
that's Jesus Shuttleworth right there.
J.J. Redick. Oh. There's another layup, Chuck.
Nice defense.
He had 13 points in the first half.
Oh, give me that.
Blake Griffin gets him going, and then Griffin rewarded. That's another layup for you, Chuck. 56-52 at the half. Clippers. We go to the third.
I think the problem with that team,
Yeah, the game slows down.
they be great on highlights.
D. Wade
Good pass.
beats Haslam.
D-Wade had
inside.
a great game today.
Yes, he did.
But you know,
give
Kenny,
me that.
What you gonna say?
Kenny,
I know what you gonna say.
you know, Kenny, you had a great point before the game. You said it on the perimeter, the Clippers are not good enough defensively.
No, they're not. They're too little and not athletic enough, and there it is right there. Because Dwayne Wade has lost some of his athleticism, but he just says, "No, I'm too big, too strong, and too quick for these two men that you put on me." And then you had the same position with LeBron James. Look who, I mean, Willie
The
Green.
Clippers, they
They're
got
not
some,
guard.
they got
LeBron
some.
James too
yeah,
little.
they got some
Too
limo
little.
guys, man.
Give him a cigarette and a blindfold.
I know,
Too little,
serious. Make sure, hey, you don't want them to be late to the game. Send them a limo.
Shane Battier taking the charge there from Blake Griffin, and then Battier
Listen,
again takes that one from Chris Paul.
One thing you can still do when you get old is take charges.
Ray Allen.
They teach that at that school in Durham.
Who's that?
Birdman.
Who had 10 points on 3 of 3 shooting on the night. Miami up 3 going
Ron
to the
taking a
fourth.
nap.
Fourth quarter action. Norris Cole? No. But watch D. Wade.
Oh. He lost what, Kenny?
Some of his athleticism, but I ain't say all of it.
Okay.
Miami with a 27-12 run bridging the third and fourth quarters.
He just had a field day today. See, this is ISO. This ISO.
Too little. Don't wait for him. Smack
Yeah,
it.
this is.
Yeah, he was feeling it tonight.
Yeah, man.
Clippers not quite done. Blake Griffin.
It's a hell of a dunk there.
You know he can do that, but I think I agree with Chuck. He needs to develop a little bit more. He needs to learn how to post up and do a little bit more.
I mean, when the
agree with you,
game
Chuck.
slows down,
Yeah.
that's what, he just got to. When the game slows down, he's just got to be a better player.
I hate to agree with you, Chuck, but
The game is going to slow. You hate to agree with me.
Yeah.
Even if I'm right.
you ain't right all
Oh,
the
you
time.
like Dr. Phil say. You one of those right fighters.
Oh,
I agree with you, Dr. Phil. Shaq's a right fighter, even when he's wrong. I'm trying to get you on his couch soon.
that's the point I was trying to make with you.
102-97, Miami prevails over the Clippers, who did get a season-high 27 out of Blake Griffin. LeBron has 18. D. Wade goes for 29, and get this, that just the 5th time since the start of last season that Wade has had 10 points or more than LeBron James had. Just the 5th time.
Yeah, that's not going to happen much.
No, it didn't.
Because LeBron is going to have an advantage every night.
And,
Yes.
And speaking of
Unless he
D-Wade,
play, he can. Nobody got no
Unless he
chance
play
against
against
that.
Martians.
Yeah.
speaking of D. Wade, he talked to Rachel Nichols after the game.
Here with Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne, after a somewhat uneven start to the season, you got to like the way you guys have been the last 2 games.
Yeah, we've been playing Miami Heat basketball. We still got a long way to go to get better, but the last 2 games we moved the ball. Defensively, we got to our rotations a little bit, but we got to continue to work.
Now, before this game, your coach, Eric Spoelstra, told us you have a chip on your shoulder from everything everyone said about you in the very last part of last season, and that we will see that at the beginning of this season. What is that chip?
Well, I'm just trying to get better. It's still early in the season. I play with a chip on my shoulder always. I mean, just to be at this position where I am. You know, I had to have that chip on my shoulder, but I like when people don't expect much out of me. It makes me focus a little better, so it's all good.
No more victories around here. You know, obviously, the effort was there tonight, just not necessarily execution and stuff like that. I just played a bad game. I turned the ball over. I got to get the ball out of my hands and let other guys make plays.
But we will play against a lot of teams that have been together for a long time. You know, the Heat, Spurs, Oklahoma City, Golden State, they all have an advantage on us because they've been together and they've had, you know, a year or two or more of playing their system and learning their system. So we're always going to be a step behind at that, but you know, we can make up for that, especially on the defensive end by the intensity and doing the little things.
Kenny says the 60s called. They want your microphone back.
I'll tell you, yeah, the 60s microphone in there, man. No, I didn't know they was.
Chuck, have you ever heard somebody say that before?
Which part?
They have an advantage over us because they played together longer.
Why you rolling your eyes,
I don't
man?
think I've ever heard that one before.
You know what?
I don't care how long you played together.
But that little play right there, you know, Kenny talked about it during the highlights. When the game slowed down, the Clippers got no offense.
None.
And if you look at that game, Spoelstra made a change in the second half. He says, we're taking the ball away from Chris Paul. The Clippers had no answers. They let an 8 to 10 point lead go to 8 to 10 points down. They got no half court offense.
That's what teams
and
do
they
every
are
year.
really, hey, listen, Kenny said at halftime, they're a regular season team. Well, they can beat the bad teams, but in a 7-game series, when the game slows down, there's so much pressure on Chris Paul because he has to get everybody involved. Chris Paul is the only player, I'm trying to think. Redick is a good player. Dudley's a good player. But there's no guy on that team. I can't remember the whole list. Crawford can. They ain't got but 2 players who can get their own shot. And you're not going to win when your 2 big guys can't score unless you spoon feed them. I mean, they just took the ball out of Chris's hand. I felt bad for Chris, to be honest with you.
The Clippers had 17 fast break points in the first half, had 2 the rest of the game as Miami clamped down, held them to 41 points in the second half after allowing 56 in the first. You know what I would like to see? December 10th, Miami at Indiana. First time they play the Pacers.
Ooh, yes, I can't wait for that.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Somebody has to have the Tiger attitude. Get it, Chuck?
Yeah.
Tiger?
Yeah, Ernie Johnson's nickname in grade school. I can't.
Up until I was like 11 or 12 years old, so
I like
everybody
that,
called me
though.
as Tiger.
I'm glad I
nice.
remembered that. You know, Ernie, I think the Pacers, I think they are terrific. I've watched them play 3 or 4 times. They're great defensively. Their coach does a fantastic job. Paul George is understanding, like, I'm a superstar. I'm a beginning superstar. I don't want to give it away that quickly after one great playoff run. But he's understanding that I can do other things other than score. He's a very good defender. He's passing the ball now. David West is a man. Roy Hibbert is he's taking that challenge. Like, you know what? I got all this money. I'm going to play like an all-star every night, going out getting Scola. The only 2 things I worry about with Indiana, their point guard play, turnovers, because you can't turn the ball over against the Miami Heat. And also, one of the most talented players in the NBA is Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, they got that blue-collar gold swagger thing they put on the T-shirts there, and they're believing it.
They believe it because they
Question though,
right
Kenny, question though. Paul George, he is the man now, but Granger was the man. So when Granger comes back, how does that work?
Well, Granger can be what he was. He's more of a spot-up, 2-dribble guy. Paul George is a guy who does a little bit. He's like Scottie Pippen was, but I think his long ball is better than Scottie's. His defense is not as good. So, but he plays all over the floor. So I don't think it's going to affect his game. It probably affect Granger's game because the ball won't be in his hand. But that's just another guy added to the mix. But to me, the only thing that separated Miami from Indiana last year is experience. So we'll see if they learned and got more experience or they learned and got more fearful.
Pat Riley told me a great thing. I asked him back when I was playing in Philadelphia about, trying to win and everything. He says, when we get better as a team, what's the advice you would give me? He says, you got to have voluntary cooperation. Danny Granger, he's got a chance to make that team or break that team. If he comes back trying to be an all-star again or he don't want to fit in, that can rock that boat. But Pat Riley always talks about voluntary cooperation.
That's why he gets a lot of money for all those speaking engagements. He's a great motivator. He has great stuff like that. And that's
and a lot of gel in his hair.
I'm going to make a prediction, by the way.
What's that?
That December 10th game, Miami at Indiana. It's a Tuesday night. I'm just thinking the folks are going to vote for that for
of course
fan night
they
on
stupid.
NBA TV.
Oh my gosh.
I just know. I just have the
They
feeling.
already voted.
Can we broadcast that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, on NBA TV on a fan night.
No, I mean, I want to go there and do the game.
Well, you can go see the game if you'd like.
We
I
can
think that'd be
broadcast
fun.
off that big satellite head you got.
When we come back, Nuggets